Hello everyone, welcome back to another weather forecasting video. We have a lot to cover in this weather forecast, such as the threat for severe weather in the southeastern United States for tomorrow, and we're also going to go over a major warm-up in the first half of February and the potential for a huge weather pattern change that could significantly impact the rest of the weather for the entire year. We have a lot to cover in this weather forecast, so stay with us. Let's get straight into this. All right, let's go and take a look at the 500 millibar maps. As we always do, we have a low pressure system centered over the western coast of the United States, and this is going to progressively move eastward as we progress into Saturday, early Saturday morning into the afternoon. This storm is going to be, the low pressure system is going to be centered over portions of Tennessee, Arkansas, and Kentucky, and this is going to cause some pretty significant weather impacts across the southeastern United States in terms of some severe weather, mainly actually over in this region. Underneath my face cam, there's actually the little legend down there with the slight risk of severe weather for tomorrow, Saturday, the 27th of January. Very strong jet streak with around over 100 knots of wind. This is around 80 miles per hour above your head, around 15,000 feet up above your head. On Saturday, 6 p.m., low pressure system is centered over western Kentucky, and this is going to cause a deep intensifying area of some high winds up in the upper atmosphere, around 15,000, 20,000 feet up to your head, with around 80 to 90 miles per hour above your head. So there's pretty big amounts of wind going one direction up in the atmosphere, around 15,000 feet up. Let's go and progress this out of that severe weather risk on Sunday. We'll have more information on that in just a few minutes, so go ahead and stay tuned for us. Our weather pattern gets a little bit weird, with a little bit of a clipper system moving down from Canada on the 31st and the 30th of July, and that could cause some potential snowfall, but it looks like mainly a lot of this is going to be rain. And then a high pressure system starts to build up over in the west, bringing in warmer temperatures from the Gulf of Mexico to invade into the United States and bring a major warm up for basically a large chunk of the United States. High pressure starts to sit over the central United States, over in portions of Arkansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, all throughout there. That's where the high pressure is going to be sitting, and that's where mainly the worst of the heat wave temperatures are going to be at. Heat wave in February is going to be like 60 degrees, so it's not going to be bad. As we progress into the future, into the 3rd of February, we start to have a little bit more of a zonal jet stream, which means the jet stream is going to be going like this, and there's not going to be really many kinks in the jet stream, any jet streaks or any troughs in terms of storms. So we're going to be entering in more of a quiet weather pattern in the start of February because we're going to be going into a more zonal jet stream pattern. So it looks like this disturbance going into the 2nd of February is going to be our last disturbance for a little bit, and it does not even look that significant. So yeah, all right, I want to go ahead and get a little bit of a closer view for you guys down in the southeastern United States on the threat for some severe weather on the 27th. It looks like this setup is going to be a little bit of a lousy one, kind of some not really that good dew points. I mean, well, there's good dew points, obviously, down in the deep south. But what I mean by that is it's going to be a little bit disorganized. As you can tell, the blue kind of gets cut off over in the central portions of Alabama. And there's still a lot of uncertainties with this setup. This setup is just going to be kind of mid. I don't really know how else to say it. It's just kind of going to be a little bit of a middle of the road. We're not really expecting that much out of this. Pretty good dew points, I will admit, around 65 to 60 dew points across the deep south and over in the Gulf Coast. Pretty good dew points. Taking a look at the surface-based Cape, only around 1,000 joules per kilogram over in portions of the panhandle of Florida, and a little bit of a stretch over into central and up into northern Alabama with only around 134 joules per kilogram up in the utmost northern portions of Alabama. But if you get down to more of the central portions of Alabama, you get around 500 to 600 joules per kilogram with isolated spots of around almost 1,000 joules per kilogram. Remember, CAPE is the amount of instability in the air. Basically, think of it as storm fuel. The more CAPE we have, obviously, the more conducive environment there is for storms. Around 1,000 to 1,500 joules per kilogram is pretty conducive for severe thunderstorm development. But we'll just have to see on the model trend, so don't take this for granted. We're still a day out. But this setup just looks kind of mid. Taking a look at the EHI, the Energy Helicity Index, this basically smashes CAPE, Tornado Parameter Index, and Supercell Composite and spits it out. It's on a scale from 1 to 16, and 1.2 is, yeah, there could be some severe storms. So it's kind of mid. It just, I don't really know. So it looks like the more of the zoned in spot for the potential of severe weather on Saturday is going to be basically in central portions of Alabama. That's my prediction. All right, let's go and take a look at the big warm-up for February. It's going to be pretty interesting. Let's go and switch this out all the way over into the 1st of February. As you can tell, all this warmth signifies around 10 degrees above average, and the blue signifies below average temperatures. -6 all the way down here over in portions of off the coast of eastern Florida, -6 degrees. But if you live over in western Kentucky, it'll be 7 degrees above normal. If you live over in portions of Iowa, it'll be 11 degrees above normal. So basically a broad area of the United States is going to be around 10 to probably 12 degrees above normal on the 1st of February. While if you live over in portions of the eastern United States all the way down into Florida, you guys are going to be experiencing a little bit below average temperatures. And as I progress this into the 3rd of February, that heat wave starts to build down just a tiny bit over in the western coast of the United States, start to get a little bit dislodged, but it starts to primarily focus over in the central portions of the United States, and it also spreads down to the Gulf Coast over in Florida. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of an interesting weather pattern we're getting ready to go into. Heat wave starts to intensify a little bit more on the 7th of February. Again, this is very far out. This is 318 hours out. On the GFS model, things are going to change. But in terms of warmer temperatures across the board, on the early half of February, it looks like it's going to be pretty set in stone in terms of above average temperatures. So yeah, and also the 6 through 10 day temperature probability outlook from the Climate Prediction Center also signifies this with well above average temperatures over in the northern portions of the United States. Basically, the whole United States is going to be experiencing pretty above average temperatures, except if you're over in Florida, which that's unfortunate. And if you take a look at the 8 through 14 day temperature probability outlook, I don't really look at this because it's a little bit less accurate. Again, a large chunk of the United States is going to be experiencing well above average temperatures. But if you live over in the western portions of the United States, well below average temperatures. Take a look at the 6 through 10 day precipitation outlook. Basically, the eastern chunk of the United States is going to be pretty dry. But if you live over in the western portions and over in the west central portions, pretty above average precipitation values through the next 6 through 10 days. All right, let's go and take a look at this massive weather pattern flip that's going to cause basically not just massive changes in the United States for the next 12 months, but also worldwide implications. Before we get into this, you might be asking, what are we even talking about? Well, we're talking about El Nino and La Nina. El Nino is what we're in currently right now. El Nino is the warming of the Pacific Ocean temperatures in, obviously, the Pacific Ocean, with around 1 to 2 degrees above normal. And you might be asking, why do I care about this? You know, why should I care about the warming of Pacific Ocean temperatures? Well, you should, you fool, obviously, because this is going to have worldwide implications. And what El Nino typically does is basically it jogs storm systems a little bit more down south, over in the Dixie Alley, over in Texas, all throughout there. It doesn't really spread them up more northward across the upper 48. And that's where basically all the storms are going to be pretty upheld down in the Dixie Alley. Well, through the next couple of months, we're expecting El Nino to basically die down. Right here, this is where it says January 2024. Obviously, it's January. Very strong El Nino ongoing, But as we go into February, look at this. It starts to die down. And if we go into March, it's dying down even more. And then to April, we start to go into La Nina. La Nina, you might be asking, what's La Nina? Basically, think of it as El Nino, but basically the reverse, with cooler Pacific Ocean temperatures. And this is going to have big implications. Typically, most of nighttime tornado events, deadly tornado events, are under La Nina events. The December 10th, 2021 outbreak with the Western Kentucky tornado, Mayfield, big example, big tornado in the weather community, happened underneath a strong La Nina. That's what we're expecting. La Nina is going to start to overcome El Nino within the next couple of months. We're going to start to transition into more of a neutral phase, actually, around in April. April and May is whenever we're going to start to get more of a neutral phase. And then as we get into June, July, and August, La Nina is going to be really prevailing. And then as we get into September, October, very, very strong La Nina is going to be coming into the United States. And this is obviously going to have pretty big impacts for obviously not just us, but basically worldwide. As we progress into November, December, pretty strong La Nina across the Pacific Ocean. And this is going to have pretty significant weather impacts across the United States and the world. So, just be prepared for that. Just wanted to point that out. But that's a very big thing that's going to be going on. I hope you guys enjoyed this weather forecasting video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and stay in the loop for any weather information. I'd be greatly appreciated if you guys subscribe with me. We're going to be uploading a lot more because this weather is going to start to get a little bit more impactful as we get into later February. Hope you guys enjoyed the rest of this forecast. I'll see you guys next weather forecasting video.